The galaxy had known peace for a long time under the watchful eyes of the Galactic Council. This council was made up of powerful alien civilizations that worked together to keep order among the stars. Humanity, however, was new to this group. Only a few decades ago, Earth had joined the council, eager to learn and grow alongside these advanced beings. But being the newcomers meant humans were often looked down upon, treated as less important or inexperienced. Still, they worked hard to prove themselves worthy of their place. One day, everything changed. A message came from the council, broadcast across all human colonies and ships. It wasn't friendly or welcoming. It was a demand. The council wanted tribute from Earth. They asked for a large share of humanity's resources and technology in exchange for continued protection and access to hyperspace routes. Without those routes, Earth would be cut off from the rest of the galaxy, left stranded and vulnerable. The news hit like a storm, spreading quickly through every corner of human society. People were angry, confused, and scared. Commander Alan Hayes was one of the first to hear the message. He stood on the bridge of his ship, the Eagles Resolve *, staring at the screen as the words sank in. Tribute. Was this how the council saw them? As weak and easy to push around. Alan felt a mix of frustration and determination bubbling inside him. He knew this couldn't go unanswered. Quickly, he sent the transmission to Admiral Laura Bennett, who was stationed back on Earth. She needed to know what was happening. Admiral Bennett wasted no time. As soon as she received the message, she called an urgent meeting with key leaders. Among them was Captain Emily Ross, a sharp and capable woman in charge of fleet operations. There was also Dr. Ryan Carter, a strategist known for thinking outside the box. Together, they gathered in a secure room deep beneath Earth's surface to discuss their options. The air was tense, filled with heavy silence as everyone processed the gravity of the situation. "We can't just give in," Alan said firmly when it was his turn to speak. "If we do, we'll lose more than resources. We'll lose our dignity, our freedom." "But fighting isn't an option either," Emily pointed out. "They're stronger, faster, and have centuries of experience over us. If we go to war, we won't stand a chance." Laura nodded slowly, her mind racing. She understood both sides but knew they couldn't afford rash decisions. That's when Dr. Carter spoke up. His voice was calm but carried weight. "What if we don't fight, but we don't back down either?" He suggested. "We show them we're not afraid. Build a fleet so powerful that even the council will think twice about messing with us." The idea hung in the air for a moment. It was bold, risky, and maybe even foolish, but it was something. Laura looked around the table, seeing the same thought reflected in everyone's eyes. They didn't have many choices, and this plan, though dangerous, offered a glimmer of hope. "We'll call it Operation Titan," Laura announced finally. "Emily, you'll oversee the construction of the fleet. Alan, prepare your teams for whatever comes next. And Ryan, I want you working on anything we can use to tip the odds in our favor." As the meeting ended, Alan returned to his ship, his mind buzzing with plans and possibilities. Back on Earth, factories and shipyards began gearing up for the largest project humanity had ever attempted. News of the Council's demands spread further, sparking protests and debates. Some people argued for peace at any cost, while others shouted for resistance. Amid the chaos, one thing became clear: humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. For now, the galaxy watched and waited. What would these young, ambitious humans do? Would they bow to the Council's demands, or would they find another way? Whatever happened next, the universe was about to see that humanity wasn't as powerless as it seemed. The demand from the Galactic Council sent shockwaves across Earth and its colonies. People were divided, unsure of what to do next. Some argued that giving in was the safest choice. "If we hand over what they want, maybe they'll leave us alone," said politicians and citizens alike. Others refused to even consider it. "We didn't fight our way into space just to roll over and let them take everything," shouted protesters in the streets. The debate grew louder, angrier, and more chaotic with each passing day. On Earth, Admiral Laura Bennett felt the weight of the decision pressing down on her. She knew time was running out. Every moment spent arguing meant less time to prepare for whatever came next. In secret, she called another meeting, not with politicians or diplomats this time, but with trusted military leaders and scientists. Among them were Commander Alan Hayes, Captain Emily Ross, and Dr. Ryan Carter. These were people who understood the stakes better than anyone else. "We can't keep sitting here while the council waits for us to crumble," Laura said firmly as the group gathered in a secure room. Her voice carried authority, but there was also a hint of urgency. "We need to act. Now." Alan leaned forward, his hands resting on the table. "We've already talked about building a fleet," he reminded everyone. "It's risky, but it shows them we're not afraid. If we present ourselves as strong, maybe they'll think twice about pushing us around." Emily nodded. "It's not just about strength," she added. "It's about showing them we're united. Humanity has always been at its best when we stand together. This could be our chance to prove that to the galaxy." Dr. Carter chimed in, his tone thoughtful. "But it's not enough to just build ships. We need something that makes them pause. Something unexpected." He paused, glancing around the room. "What if we design weapons and defenses they've never seen before? Technology so advanced it forces them to reconsider their stance." Laura considered this for a moment. It was a bold idea, but it might work. "All right," she said finally. "Emily, you're in charge of the fleet construction. Alan, start training crews. We'll need every soldier ready for anything. And Ryan, focus on your experiments. Whatever you come up with, make sure it's worth the risk." With the plan set, the team dispersed to carry out their tasks. Back on Earth, shipyards sprang to life. Factories worked day and night, producing materials for the new fleet. Engineers and workers poured their hearts into the project, knowing how much depended on it. Each ship was given a name chosen by the public. Asterisk Freedom's Call Asterisk, Asterisk Iron Resolve Asterisk, and Asterisk Pioneer's Pride Asterisk. At the center of the fleet stood the massive dreadnought Asterisk Unity's Shield Asterisk, designed to inspire hope and strike fear into any enemy. Meanwhile, Alan focused on preparing the crews. Training intensified, with soldiers learning new tactics and pilots practicing maneuvers unlike anything they'd done before. One standout recruit was Lieutenant Sarah Blake, a young pilot whose determination caught everyone's attention. Her family had suffered during past conflicts, and she saw this as her chance to protect those she loved. Her courage inspired others, earning her respect even among veterans. As weeks turned into months, rumors began spreading beyond Earth. Spies reported that the Council had heard whispers of humanity's preparations. Alien ambassadors sent warnings, urging Earth to stop provoking them. But humanity pressed on, undeterred. They weren't backing down. Not now. Not ever. In the Council chambers far away, debates raged. Some members dismissed humanity as insignificant, believing they posed no real threat. Others weren't so sure. Humanity's rapid growth and resilience had surprised them before. Could they really afford to underestimate them again? For now, the galaxy held its breath, watching and waiting. What would these bold humans do next? Would their defiance lead to peace or war? Only time would tell. Under Captain Emily Ross's leadership, the construction of humanity's fleet moved faster than anyone had expected. Shipyards across Earth and its colonies worked around the clock, their lights glowing like stars against the night sky. Engineers, designers, and workers poured every ounce of effort into creating the most powerful armada humanity had ever seen. For many, it wasn't just a job. It was a mission, a chance to prove that Earth wouldn't be pushed around. The centerpiece of the fleet was the colossal dreadnought Asterisk Unity's Shield Asterisk. It was more than just a ship. It symbolized humanity's spirit. Equipped with experimental weapons and shields designed by Dr. Ryan Carter, the ship was a marvel of human ingenuity. Its sleek, armored hull gleamed under the artificial lights as engineers put the finishing touches on its systems. Surrounding it were hundreds of smaller vessels, each one named by the public. Asterisk Freedom's Call Asterisk, Asterisk Iron Resolve Asterisk, and Asterisk Pioneer's Pride Asterisk. Together, they formed a fleet that could hold its own against even the mightiest forces in the galaxy. While the ships took shape, Commander Alan Hayes focused on preparing the crews. Training sessions became intense, pushing soldiers and pilots to their limits. Alan knew that having advanced technology wasn't enough. They needed skilled people to use it. He spent hours overseeing drills, making sure every crew member understood their role. Morale among the recruits soared as they realized the importance of their mission. Many saw themselves as defenders of Earth, ready to stand up to the Galactic Council's demands. One standout figure was Lieutenant Sarah Blake, a young pilot whose determination inspired everyone around her. Her family had suffered during earlier conflicts, and she carried that pain with her, channeling it into her work. Sarah trained harder than anyone, mastering complex maneuvers and earning the respect of seasoned veterans. When she spoke about protecting humanity, her words resonated deeply. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," she told her fellow pilots. "We're fighting for everyone back home, for our families, our friends, and our future." As the fleet neared completion, rumors of humanity's preparations reached the Council. Alien spies reported the size and strength of the Armada, causing concern among some members. Ambassador Kale, representing the dominant Farnet species, dismissed the news. "They're still children playing at war," he sneered during a council meeting. But Elder Turin, a wise Zorathian leader, wasn't so quick to judge. She studied the reports carefully, noting how quickly humanity had mobilized. "These humans are unpredictable," she warned. "Underestimating them could be dangerous." Despite the growing tension, Admiral Laura Bennett remained cautious. She knew that building the fleet was only part of the plan. Humanity still needed to show the Council they were serious without provoking outright war. With that in mind, she ordered the fleet to assemble near Proxima Centauri, close enough to Council territory to make a statement, but far enough to avoid immediate conflict. When the ships gathered, the sight was breathtaking. Hundreds of vessels formed a massive formation, their engines lighting up the darkness like a constellation reborn. At the helm of Asterisk Unity's Shield Asterisk, Alan broadcast a message directly to the Council. His voice was calm but firm as he spoke. "We are not a people to be subjugated. We will not kneel before tyranny. If you seek tribute, look upon our fleet and know what you ask of us." The message echoed through the Council chambers, leaving many members stunned. Holographic projections displayed the human armada, showing its sheer size and power. Some Council members whispered nervously, while others tried to downplay the threat. But there was no denying it. Humanity had made its position clear. For now, the galaxy held its breath. What would the Council do next? Would they back down, or would they see humanity's defiance as an act of war? The answer would come soon enough, but one thing was certain. Humanity was ready. Whatever happened, they would face it together, united under the banner of hope and resilience. The human fleet stood ready near Proxima Centauri, a silent but powerful statement to the Galactic Council. The ships hung in space like sentinels, their engines glowing faintly against the dark void. Commander Alan Hayes paced the bridge of Asterisk Unity's Shield Asterisk, his mind racing with possibilities. He knew the Council was watching, debating what to do next. Humanity had drawn a line in the stars, and now it was up to the Council to decide whether to step back or cross it. Back on Earth, Admiral Laura Bennett prepared for the next phase of their plan. While the fleet demonstrated humanity's strength, she also wanted to open a diplomatic channel. War wasn't inevitable, and Laura believed there was still a chance to resolve the conflict peacefully. She selected a small team of emissaries to negotiate with the Council. Leading the delegation was Dr. Ryan Carter, whose calm demeanor and sharp mind made him an ideal choice. Joining him was Lieutenant Sarah Blake, whose bravery and eloquence had already inspired many. Together, they would try to reason with the Council and find a way to avoid bloodshed. The negotiations began aboard a neutral station orbiting a distant star. The council chamber was a vast, domed room filled with alien representatives from dozens of species. Some were tall and spindly, others broad and armored, but all of them radiated authority. Dr. Carter stepped forward first, his voice steady as he addressed the assembly. "We come in peace," he began. "Humanity does not seek conflict, but we also will not surrender our freedom or dignity." Sarah followed, speaking directly to the council members. Her words were simple but heartfelt. She shared stories of Earth, the struggles, the triumphs, and the dreams that had driven humanity to reach for the stars. "We've worked hard to earn our place here," she said. "All we ask is to be treated as equals." Is that too much to ask? Her speech resonated with some members, particularly Elder Turin, the wise Zorathian leader. She listened intently, her large, luminous eyes fixed on Sarah. When the time came for the council to respond, Turin spoke up. "These humans are young, yes, but they have shown courage and determination," she said. "Perhaps it is time we reconsider our demands." But not everyone agreed. Ambassador Kale, representing the Varnet species, scoffed at the idea. "They are reckless and untested," he growled. "If we give in now, they will only grow bolder." His words stirred unease among some members, who feared that showing weakness might embolden other lesser species. As the debate raged, tensions mounted both in the council chamber and out in space. Alan kept the fleet on high alert, knowing diplomacy could fail at any moment. Scouting patrols reported increased activity from council fleets nearby, suggesting preparations for battle. The air aboard Unity's shield grew tense as crews braced themselves for the worst. Despite the mounting pressure, Laura remained hopeful. She trusted her emissaries to make their case and prayed the council would see reason. Meanwhile, Dr. Carter and Sarah continued their efforts, appealing to the council's sense of fairness and logic. They argued that humanity's rapid growth and innovation made them valuable allies rather than enemies. "Think of what we can achieve together," Carter urged. "Why waste such potential on conflict?" Slowly, cracks began to form in the council's unity. Some members sided with Turin, advocating for compromise, while others aligned with Kale, pushing for a show of force. The chamber buzzed with heated arguments, each side trying to sway the undecided members. It was clear that the council itself was divided, unsure of how to handle this bold new challenge. For now, the situation remained delicate. Humanity's fate hung in the balance, caught between diplomacy and the looming threat of war. The fleet waited, ready for whatever came next. Back in the council chamber, Sarah took a deep breath and looked around at the alien faces. She knew they were scared of humanity's unpredictability, scared of change. But she also knew one thing for certain: humanity wouldn't back down. Whatever happened, they would face it head-on, united and unyielding. Just as it seemed negotiations might lead to a peaceful solution, disaster struck. A rogue faction within the council, led by Ambassador Kale, decided to act on its own. Ignoring the ongoing talks, they launched a surprise attack against the human fleet near Proxima Centauri. The strike came without warning, catching the humans off guard. Commander Alan Hayes was on the bridge of Unity's shield when alarms blared through the ship. "Incoming enemy vessels," shouted one of the crew members. Alan's heart raced as he turned to the view screen. Dozens of council ships emerged from hyperspace, their weapons already firing. Energy blasts tore through space, striking several smaller human vessels. Explosions lit up the darkness as ships were hit and damaged. "Evasive maneuvers," Alan ordered, his voice sharp and commanding. "Return fire, now." The crew sprang into action, their training paying off in the heat of battle. Unity's shield unleashed a barrage of retaliatory fire, its experimental weapons cutting through enemy shields with surprising efficiency. Nearby, other human ships joined the fight, their pilots weaving between enemy fire with skill and determination. Lieutenant Sarah Blake was among those leading the counterattack. Her fighters zipped through the chaos, targeting enemy ships with precision. She could feel her heart pounding as she dodged incoming fire, but fear didn't slow her down. Instead, it fueled her resolve. "We've come too far to lose now," she muttered to herself, lining up another shot. Her missile struck an enemy cruiser, sending it spiraling out of control. Despite their bravery, the humans were outnumbered. Several ships in the fleet sustained heavy damage, and casualties began to mount. Alan clenched his fists as he watched smaller vessels explode under relentless assault. But he refused to give up. "Keep fighting," he shouted over the comms. "We hold the line." News of the attack reached Admiral Laura Bennett back on Earth. She listened to the reports with growing anger and concern. "They've crossed a line," she said, her voice cold. This wasn't just an attack, it was a betrayal. She immediately authorized reinforcements to be sent to the fleet, though she knew they wouldn't arrive in time to turn the tide of this battle. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, chaos erupted. Elder Turin stood furiously, her glowing eyes blazing with fury. "This is unacceptable," she declared, pointing at Kel. "You have sabotaged peace for your own pride." Other council members joined in, shouting accusations and demands. The once unified body fractured further, with factions turning against one another. Cale tried to defend his actions, claiming that humanity had forced their hand. "They left us no choice," he snarled. Their defiance needed to be punished, but his excuses fell flat. Many council members saw the attack as reckless and unnecessary, risking not only war with humanity, but also destabilizing the entire council. Amid the turmoil, Dr. Ryan Carter seized the opportunity to push for peace. He stepped forward, addressing the divided assembly. "This madness must stop," he said firmly. "If we continue down this path, none of us will benefit. Let us agree to a ceasefire before more lives are lost." Turin supported Carter's plea, urging the council to halt the conflict. Slowly, cooler heads began to prevail. A temporary ceasefire was agreed upon, ordering both sides to stand down. When the order reached Alan aboard Unity's Shield *, he hesitated but ultimately complied. The human fleet regrouped, battered but still intact. As the smoke cleared, both humanity and the council took stock of the damage. Ships on both sides floated lifelessly in space, a grim reminder of what had been lost. For now, the fighting had stopped, but the scars ran deep. Humanity had proven its strength and resilience, earning a newfound respect, even fear, from some council members. Yet the question remained, would this fragile truce hold, or was it merely a pause before the storm? Back aboard Unity's Shield *, Alan looked out at the damaged fleet and felt a mix of pride and sorrow. They had survived, but at a cost. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: humanity would never back down. Not now, not ever. The ceasefire held, but the tension between humanity and the Galactic Council remained thick, like a storm cloud waiting to burst. Both sides retreated to lick their wounds, but no one believed the peace would last long. On Earth, Admiral Laura Bennett worked tirelessly to prepare for whatever came next. She knew the council was still divided, with some members wanting to crush humanity and others pushing for compromise. The fragile truce was just the calm before the storm. Commander Alan Hayes returned to Earth after the battle, his mind heavy with thoughts of the ships they had lost and the lives that could not be replaced. He walked through the corridors of the military headquarters, nodding at soldiers who saluted him but feeling too drained to speak. When he reached the briefing room, Laura was already there, along with Captain Emily Ross and Dr. Ryan Carter. The air was tense, charged with the weight of what they had endured and what might still come. "We showed them we can fight," Alan said finally, breaking the silence. "But fighting isn't enough. If this goes to full-scale war, we'll lose too much: ships, people, everything." Laura nodded slowly. "That's why we need to push for peace while we still have a chance," she replied. "We've proven we're not weak. Now we need to prove we're reasonable. Dr. Carter leaned forward, his expression thoughtful. The council is fractured, he pointed out. Some of them respect us now. Others are scared of us. We can use that fear to our advantage. If we offer something valuable, something they can't ignore, they might back down. Emily spoke up next. What about technology? She suggested. We've made huge advances in energy systems and shield designs. If we share some of it, maybe they'll see us as partners instead of enemies. Laura considered the idea carefully. It wasn't an easy decision. Sharing technology meant giving up secrets that could one day be used against them. But it also offered a way to end the conflict without more bloodshed. After a long pause, she nodded. It's risky, but it might work. Let's draft a proposal. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Sarah Blake spent her days helping repair damaged ships and comforting grieving families. She had seen the cost of war firsthand and was determined to prevent more loss. When she heard about the plan to negotiate again, she volunteered to join the delegation. I want to help, she told Alan when he hesitated. If I can make a difference, I need to try. Back at the council chambers, the atmosphere was chaotic. Ambassador Kale continued to argue for punishing humanity, but Elder Tyrin countered him at every turn. Your reckless attack only made them stronger, she snapped during one heated session. They stood their ground against us. Do you really think another battle will go differently? Other council members wavered, torn between fear of humanity's unpredictability and anger over their defiance. The arrival of Earth's delegation added fuel to the fire. Led by Dr. Carter and Sarah, they presented their proposal. Humanity would voluntarily share advanced technology and resources if the Council withdrew its tribute demand and recognized Earth's sovereignty. The Council erupted into debate once more. Some members saw the offer as a clever trick, while others viewed it as a genuine opportunity for cooperation. Kel sneered at the idea. They're trying to buy their way out of submission, he spat. But Tyrin silenced him with a sharp glare. Enough, she said firmly. This is our chance to avoid further destruction. Are we so proud that we would reject peace? Slowly, the tide began to shift. More council members sided with Tyrin, seeing the logic in humanity's offer. Even those who distrusted humans admitted that another war would be costly and uncertain. Finally, after hours of argument, a majority agreed to accept the deal. When the news reached Earth, relief swept through the planet. People celebrated in the streets, waving flags and cheering for their leaders. For the first time in months, hope felt real again. Humanity had stared down the most powerful forces in the galaxy, and won. But the victory came with lessons learned. Admiral Laura Bennett stood on a balcony overlooking the city, watching the celebrations below. Beside her, Alan and Sarah joined in quiet reflection. We proved ourselves today, Laura said softly. But this is just the beginning. The galaxy is watching us now. We have to keep proving we belong here. As fireworks lit up the night sky, humanity looked toward the stars, not as outsiders anymore, but as equals ready to shape the future. The agreement between humanity and the Galactic Council marked a turning point. The Council officially withdrew its tribute demand, acknowledging Earth's right to self-determination. In return, humanity pledged to share certain technologies and resources voluntarily, fostering cooperation instead of conflict. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start, a fragile peace built on mutual respect and cautious trust. Back on Earth, celebrations continued for days. Cities were alive with music, parades, and speeches. People from all walks of life came together, united by the victory. For the first time in years, there was a sense of pride that stretched across the planet. Humanity had stood up to the most powerful forces in the galaxy and earned its place among them. Commander Alan Hayes watched the festivities from a distance, his thoughts reflecting on everything they had been through. He stood on the deck of Unity's Shield Asterisk, now docked for repairs, gazing at the Earth below. The planet looked peaceful from space, its blue oceans and swirling clouds a stark contrast to the chaos humanity had faced. Beside him, Lieutenant Sarah Blake joined silently, her expression thoughtful. "We did it," Sarah said finally, breaking the quiet. Her voice carried both relief and awe. "We actually did it." Alan nodded slowly. "Yeah, we did," he replied. "But this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. The Council knows we're not afraid to fight, but they also know we're willing to talk. That balance is what keeps us safe." Sarah smiled faintly. "Still, it feels good to have made a difference, to show them we're not just some weak species they can push around." Down on Earth, Admiral Laura Bennett addressed a crowd gathered in a central square. Her speech was simple but powerful. "Today we proved that humanity is strong, not because of our weapons or ships, but because of our courage and unity," she told the cheering masses. "This victory belongs to every single one of you. Together, we showed the galaxy what we're capable of." Captain Emily Ross and Dr. Ryan Carter also received widespread recognition for their roles in the conflict. Emily's leadership in building the fleet became legendary, while Ryan's innovative designs earned him praise as one of humanity's greatest minds. Their contributions reminded everyone that success wasn't achieved by individuals alone. It took teamwork, determination, and belief in a shared goal. As the celebrations wound down, life began returning to normal. Factories resumed production, scientists focused on new projects, and soldiers trained for future missions. But the scars of the battle remained. Damaged ships were repaired, but the memory of those lost lingered. Memorials were erected to honor the brave men and women who had given their lives to protect Earth. In the council chambers far away, debates about humanity continued. Some members still saw humans as unpredictable and dangerous, while others admired their resilience and ingenuity. Elder Turin often spoke in favor of working with Earth, reminding her peers that humanity's rise was inevitable. "They are young, yes, but they have much to offer," she said during one session. Ignoring that would be a mistake. Ambassador Kale remained bitter, though his influence had waned. He muttered under his breath about humanity's defiance, but lacked support for further aggression. For now, the Council seemed content to observe, waiting to see how humanity would grow in the years ahead. On Earth, people looked toward the stars with newfound confidence. They knew challenges lay ahead, but they also knew they could face them together. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing toe-to-toe with the oldest and most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. And as the sun set over the horizon, casting golden light across the land, one truth resonated clear. Humanity was no longer an outsider in the universe. It was a force shaping its future. For Commander Alan Hayes, Lieutenant Sarah Blake, Admiral Laura Bennett, and everyone else involved, the journey had changed them forever. They had fought for their home, their freedom, and their dignity. And in doing so, they had secured a brighter tomorrow. Whatever came next, humanity was ready.